In a distant part of the galaxy, a group of curious aliens gathered around a holographic display. They shared stories about a mysterious planet called Earth. It was said that this world had vanished without a trace 500,000 years ago. The tales were filled with wonder and intrigue, and the aliens were eager to uncover the truth. They believed that if they could find Earth, they might discover the secrets of a lost civilization. Among them was Captain Varro, a brave and adventurous leader. He was fascinated by the stories of humans who once roamed the planet. "We must find this lost world," he declared, his eyes shining with excitement. "If humans were as smart as the legends say, we might learn something valuable." The crew quickly prepared their ship, the Starseeker. It was a sleek, silver vessel built for speed and exploration. With a powerful engine, it zoomed through the stars, leaving a trail of light behind. As they traveled, the crew speculated about what they might find. Some believed Earth was just a barren rock, while others thought it might be filled with ancient treasures. After a long journey, the Starseeker finally arrived in the solar system where Earth was located. The aliens looked out of their windows in awe. Before them was a blue planet surrounded by clouds. "There it is!" one crew member shouted. The excitement was palpable as they prepared to land. As they descended, they noticed the planet's surface was covered in greenery and water. They landed in a vast forest, filled with tall trees and strange sounds. The crew stepped out, their eyes wide with amazement. The air was fresh, and the sunlight filtered through the leaves, casting beautiful shadows on the ground. "We need to explore," Varro said, leading the way. The crew followed him, eager to uncover the secrets of this lost world. They walked through the forest, marveling at the plants and animals they encountered. Brightly colored birds flew overhead, and curious creatures peeked out from behind the bushes. As they ventured deeper into the forest, they stumbled upon old ruins. Crumbling stone walls and broken statues told a story of a once great civilization. The crew examined the artifacts, trying to piece together what had happened to the humans. "These structures are so advanced," one crew member exclaimed. How could they have disappeared? The aliens continued their exploration, finding more remnants of human life. They discovered old machines covered in vines and rust. Some were simple, while others looked incredibly complex. "Look at this!" Varro called out, pointing to a strange device. It appeared to be a map, but the markings were unfamiliar. Suddenly they heard a loud noise. The ground shook beneath their feet. The aliens looked around, frightened. "What was that?" one of them asked. Varro's heart raced. They quickly followed the sound, moving cautiously through the trees. They arrived at a clearing and gasped at what they saw. A massive structure rose from the ground, a hidden spacecraft, buried beneath the earth for centuries. It was a stunning sight, with sleek lines and powerful engines that hinted at its advanced technology. "This must be one of their ships," Varro shouted. "We need to investigate." As they approached the ship, the ground trembled again, but this time it was different. The ship began to light up, and strange symbols appeared on its surface. The crew exchanged nervous glances. "Is it alive?" one alien whispered. Varro nodded. "We need to be careful. This could be the key to understanding what happened to humanity." The ship emitted a low hum, and the symbols started to glow brighter. The crew felt a mix of fear and excitement as they realized they had stumbled upon something extraordinary. In that moment, the aliens knew their adventure was just beginning. They were determined to uncover the secrets of Earth and the fate of its people. As they stood in awe of the hidden ship, they felt a sense of purpose. This lost world held answers, and they would do whatever it took to find them. As the crew of the Starseeker gathered around the glowing spacecraft, a sense of wonder filled the air. Captain Varro stepped forward, his heart racing with excitement. "We need to find out what this ship can tell us," he announced. The crew nodded, eager to explore the mysteries of Earth. With cautious steps, they approached the ship. The surface shimmered and strange symbols pulsed with light. Varro reached out and placed his hand on the ship's hull. Suddenly, a warm glow enveloped him and the ship began to hum. The crew gasped as images filled the air, displaying scenes from Earth's long-lost history. The first image showed a bustling city, alive with people. They walked on streets filled with bright colors, and tall buildings touched the sky. "Look at how advanced they were," one crew member exclaimed. "This doesn't look like a primitive civilization at all." The next image shifted to show humans working together. They were building, inventing, and exploring. They were a creative species, Varro noted, his eyes fixed on the scenes. They pushed the boundaries of knowledge and technology. The crew watched in awe as images of space travel flashed before them, showcasing sleek ships and distant planets. But then the images changed. A dark shadow fell over the city and chaos erupted. The crew saw destruction as the cities crumbled and the humans ran in fear. "What happened?" one crew member asked, his voice trembling. "Why did they disappear?" The ship's hum grew louder and more images filled the air. They saw humans fighting against an unknown enemy, brave souls defending their world. They were strong, Varro said, inspired by their courage. But it seems they faced great challenges. Suddenly the images stopped and the ship fell silent. The crew exchanged worried glances. "Is that all?" someone asked. Just then the ship emitted a soft beep, and a new display appeared, revealing coordinates and a message: "Search the hidden chambers." What could that mean? One crew member wondered. "Where are these chambers?" "Let's find out," Varro replied, determination in his voice. "We need to explore the area around the ship." The crew set off, following the map's coordinates deeper into the forest. As they walked, they noticed signs of human presence everywhere. Old roads, long overgrown with weeds, hinted at a time when this land was filled with life. The crew discovered broken pieces of machinery, tools, and even books, all buried under layers of dirt. "It's like a treasure hunt," one alien said, picking up a rusty tool. "Each find tells a story." They reached a clearing where they saw what looked like a large stone door, half covered by vines and moss. "This must be one of the hidden chambers," Varro exclaimed, excitement bubbling within him. The crew worked together, pulling away the thick vines to reveal intricate carvings on the stone. The carvings depicted humans with advanced machines and strange symbols that matched those on the ship. As Varro pressed a hidden lever on the door, it creaked open, revealing a dark tunnel inside. The crew hesitated, exchanging nervous looks. "Should we go in?" one alien asked. "What if it's dangerous?" "We came here for answers," Varro replied, stepping into the tunnel. "We can't turn back now." The crew followed closely behind, their hearts pounding with anticipation. The tunnel was cool and damp, with walls lined with glowing crystals that lit their path. As they moved further in, they found more signs of human life. Old furniture, tools, and even faded paintings that showed scenes of daily life. "This is amazing," one crew member said, pointing to a painting of a family gathered around a table. "It's like we're stepping back in time." Suddenly, the crew reached a large chamber filled with strange machines. In the center stood a control panel covered in dust. Varro approached it, brushing off the debris. "This looks important," he said, studying the buttons and screens. "It might contain the key to understanding what happened here." With a deep breath, Varro pressed a button. The machines whirred to life, and images filled the air once again. But this time, they were not just scenes of the past, they showed the last days of humanity, their struggles, their hopes, and their ultimate sacrifice. The crew watched in silence, their hearts heavy with the weight of the lost civilization. As the images faded, Varro looked at his crew, determination shining in his eyes. "We will uncover the truth about humanity. They may be gone, but their legacy will live on through us." The crew nodded in agreement, ready to continue their journey into the depths of Earth's history. As the last images from the ancient machines faded into silence, Captain Varro stood in the dim light of the chamber, his mind racing with thoughts. "We have seen what humans faced," he said to his crew, determination in his voice. "Now we must awaken their fleet. It is time to discover what power they still hold." The crew exchanged eager glances. They had uncovered signs of advanced technology, but the thought of awakening the hidden fleet was thrilling. "Where do we start?" one crew member asked, his eyes bright with excitement. Varro turned back to the control panel they had activated. "The ship showed us coordinates. Let's follow them. It could lead us to the ships that were once hidden from the universe." The crew gathered around, ready to embark on this new adventure. Following the glowing map, they left the chamber and made their way back through the tunnel. The air felt electric with possibility. Every step took them closer to a forgotten history, and they could almost feel the presence of the humans who once roamed this planet. After a long trek through the forest, they arrived at a vast clearing. In the center stood a series of large structures covered in vines and dirt. "This must be it," Varro exclaimed. The buildings looked like giant domes, each one holding the promise of secrets from a lost era. As they approached, the crew could see that some of the structures had large doors, but they were all sealed tight. Varro felt a mix of excitement and frustration. How do we get inside? He wondered aloud. One crew member spotted a panel next to one of the doors. Maybe this can help, she said, pointing to the ancient technology embedded in the wall. The panel was covered in dust, but it looked similar to the control panel from the chamber. Varro stepped forward, wiping off the dirt. He pressed a few buttons, and to everyone's surprise, the door creaked open. It worked! Another crew member cheered. With a deep breath, Varro led the way inside, his heart pounding with anticipation. The interior was dark but filled with strange lights and shadows. They could see outlines of massive ships, their forms hidden under layers of dust. The crew moved cautiously, each step echoing in the silence. As they explored further, they could feel the weight of history surrounding them. Look at this, one crew member shouted, pointing to a large ship in the center of the room. It was magnificent, with sleek lines and glowing patterns on its surface. This must be one of their warships. Varro approached the ship, his eyes wide with awe. This is incredible. We need to wake it up. He studied the ship's exterior, looking for a way to activate it. After searching, he found a panel similar to the one from the chamber. With trembling hands, Varro pressed the button. The ship responded with a low hum, and lights flickered to life along its surface. The crew watched in amazement as the ship began to transform. Its panels shifted and the engines sparked with energy. Suddenly, a voice echoed through the chamber. Awakening sequence initiated. Systems online. The crew gasped, eyes wide. The ship was coming to life. Can you believe it? One crew member whispered. We are waking up an ancient warship. As the ship fully powered on, holographic displays emerged, showing maps of Earth and the galaxy beyond. Varro felt a thrill of excitement. This ship holds the key to humanity's legacy, he said. Let's explore its capabilities. The crew gathered around the displays, their curiosity piqued. They saw information about the ship's weapons, defense systems, and even its warp capabilities. This is amazing, another crew member shouted. With this ship, we could explore the entire galaxy. Let's wake up more ships, Varro said, feeling a surge of determination. We need to awaken the entire fleet. We can learn from them and carry on the legacy of humanity. With that, the crew set to work, activating ship after ship, each one coming to life with a power that had been dormant for centuries. As they awakened the fleet, the chamber filled with the sounds of engines humming and systems activating. Finally, after what felt like hours, the crew stood among a fully awakened fleet. Each ship gleamed with new energy, ready to soar through the stars once again. We did it! One crew member cheered, a smile spreading across his face. Varro looked at the fleet, pride swelling in his chest. We have awakened the guardians of Earth. Now, we must honor their legacy by exploring the galaxy and sharing what we learn. As the crew prepared for their next journey, they felt a deep connection to the humans who had once inhabited this world. They knew they were part of something much greater, a bridge between the past and the future. Together, they would carry forward the spirit of humanity and explore the wonders of the universe. As the newly awakened fleet shimmered under the dim lights of the chamber, excitement filled the air. Captain Varro stood on the bridge of the lead ship, the Star Guardian, feeling a surge of hope. The crew buzzed around him, busy preparing for their first mission with the ancient vessels. However, as they made their plans, a shadow of unease loomed over them. The crew had awakened incredible power, but they also carried the weight of uncertainty. What if there are still dangers out there? One crew member asked, adjusting the controls. We don't know what happened to the humans or what enemies they faced. Varro nodded, understanding the concern. We need to be ready for anything. Let's run simulations and check our defenses. He turned to the ship's control panel, preparing to access the fleet's advanced systems. The crew worked tirelessly, running diagnostic tests and practicing maneuvers. But as they trained, whispers of doubt spread among them. They had uncovered humanity's lost fleet, yet the mystery of their disappearance hung heavily in the air. What if we're not prepared? Another crew member said quietly, glancing nervously at the ships surrounding them. Days passed, and the crew began to feel the strain of uncertainty. They had successfully awakened the fleet, but the weight of their mission pressed down on them. Tensions simmered as they trained and prepared for their first exploration of the galaxy. One evening, as they gathered for a meeting, Varro sensed the growing worry among his crew. I know you are all feeling uneasy, he began, addressing the group. But we have to trust in our abilities and in the technology we have awakened. This fleet represents the strength of humanity. We must honor that strength. Captain, a crew member interjected, we have no idea what lies beyond our world. The humans faced great threats. What if we encounter something similar? The room fell silent, tension palpable as everyone exchanged worried glances. Varro took a deep breath considering their fears. Every journey holds risks. We must face them together. Remember, we have the advantage of surprise. The galaxy doesn't know that we're here. Despite his words, Varro could feel the doubts lingering in the air. The crew's eyes reflected a mixture of excitement and fear, and he understood the gravity of their task. Let's focus on our mission. We will gather intelligence and learn more about the threats that might still exist. Knowledge is our greatest weapon. With that, the crew set to work, preparing for their first flight. The tension eased slightly as they focused on their tasks. Yet in the back of their minds, the fear of the unknown remained. Finally, the day of their first mission arrived. Varro stood on the bridge, flanked by his crew, each one ready for the adventure ahead. The Star Guardian pulsed with energy as they prepared for takeoff. All systems check, Varro called, and one by one the crew reported their readiness. As they launched into the sky, the thrill of exploration mingled with the tension that had built over the past days. The view of Earth from above was breathtaking, a beautiful blue planet shimmering under the light of distant stars. "We are finally free," a crew member shouted, excitement breaking through the tension. But as they entered space, the atmosphere shifted. Varro's heart raced as he felt the weight of responsibility. They were now the guardians of humanity's legacy, and every decision counted. He had to keep his crew focused and ready. Hours into their journey, they began to scan nearby star systems for signs of life. As they worked, a sudden alert blared across the ship. "Captain, we're detecting unknown ships approaching!" A crew member shouted, panic in her voice. "Raise shields and prepare for evasive maneuvers," Varro commanded, adrenaline coursing through him. The crew sprang into action, hearts pounding as they followed his orders. The screen lit up with images of unfamiliar vessels, their shapes sleek and menacing. "They look like warships," another crew member exclaimed. "What do we do, Captain?" Varro took a deep breath, feeling the weight of the moment. "We cannot show fear. We will stand our ground. This is our chance to prove ourselves." He glanced at his crew, determination shining in his eyes. "We are the last hope for humanity. We will not back down." As the unknown ships drew closer, Varro felt a surge of confidence. They had awakened the fleet for a reason, and now they had to defend it. The tension in the air was thick, but together, they would face whatever challenges lay ahead. The tension on the Star Guardian was palpable as the unknown warships approached. Captain Varro stood at the helm, heart racing, surrounded by his crew, who were readying their weapons and shields. They had awakened humanity's fleet from centuries of slumber, and now it was time to show their strength. "Enemy vessels are within firing range," a crew member shouted, her voice trembling with excitement and fear. "Maintain our position," Varro commanded. "We need to assess their intentions first. Let's not fire until we know if they're hostile." He knew that patience was crucial. The fate of their mission and the legacy of humanity depended on it. The mysterious ships hovered closer, sleek and menacing against the backdrop of stars. Varro felt the eyes of his crew on him, their hopes resting on his decisions. He had to think quickly but wisely. "Open a channel," he ordered. "Let's see if they will respond." As the communication line buzzed to life, Varro spoke clearly into the microphone. "This is Captain Varro of the Star Guardian. We come in peace, representing the long-lost human fleet. State your intentions." Silence filled the bridge as they awaited a reply. The crew exchanged anxious glances, their anticipation growing. Just as doubt began to creep in, a voice crackled through the speakers, deep and authoritative. "You are not supposed to exist. Prepare for immediate destruction." Panic surged through the crew. "They mean to attack!" one member yelled. Varro felt his heart drop, but quickly regained his composure. "Raise shields and prepare for combat!" he shouted, adrenaline flooding his system. "All hands to battle stations!" The crew sprang into action, their training kicking in. They activated the ship's defenses, and the shields glowed brightly around them. Varro's hands gripped the controls, his mind racing with strategies. "Focus on defensive maneuvers. We need to outsmart them." As the enemy warships opened fire, brilliant beams of energy shot towards the Star Guardian. Varro commanded, "Evasive maneuvers! Turn to the left!" The ship swerved sharply, narrowly dodging the blasts. The crew cheered, their confidence rising with every successful maneuver. "Return fire!" Varro ordered, and the Star Guardian's cannons roared to life. Bright bursts of energy shot from the ship, striking one of the enemy vessels. Explosions lit up the dark expanse of space, and Varro felt a surge of pride. They were fighting back! The battle raged on, with beams of light and explosions lighting up the void. The crew worked in harmony, communicating and adapting to the changing situation. "One enemy ship is retreating," a crew member shouted. "They're breaking formation. Let them go!" Varro replied, knowing that their priority was to defend their own fleet. The remaining ships were still closing in, their intentions unclear. Suddenly, another alert blared. "Captain, we're detecting more ships emerging from the nearby star system," a crew member exclaimed. "More? How many?" Varro asked, his stomach sinking. "Countless ships. They seem to be coming to aid the enemy." The crew's expressions turned to fear as the realization hit them. They were vastly outnumbered. "Captain, what should we do?" a crew member asked, eyes wide with concern. Varro took a deep breath, feeling the weight of the moment. "We cannot fight them all," he said firmly. "We must retreat and regroup." "Activate the warp drive!" The crew scrambled to comply, their determination unwavering. The Star Guardian powered up, the engines humming with energy as they prepared for a jump. Just as they initiated the sequence, the enemy vessels unleashed a final barrage of fire. Energy beams slammed against their shields, lighting up the dark void around them. "Hold on!" Varro shouted as the ship jolted. With a surge of energy, they felt the familiar sensation of warp travel. In an instant, they were propelled through space, escaping the onslaught of their enemies. When they emerged from warp, Varro ordered the crew to assess their surroundings. "We need to find a safe place to regroup and plan our next move," he said, heart still racing. The crew let out a collective sigh of relief. They were alive and their fleet was intact. However, the battle had shaken them deeply. They had faced their first challenge and learned that danger lurked in the darkness of the universe. As they floated in the quiet of space, Varro looked at his crew. "We will not give up," he said, determination in his voice. "Humanity has faced great odds before, and we will rise again. We must understand our enemies and prepare for our next strike." The crew nodded, newfound resolve igniting in their hearts. They were not just explorers, they were warriors, guardians of humanity's legacy. Together, they would strike back, ready to reclaim their place in the stars and honor the spirit of those who had come before them.